What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mind Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and in today's video we're going to talk about a lot of different things related to crypto, the crypto market, crypto mining. So before we get into it, do me a favor, hit the like and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. So we got all kinds of topics. We're going to talk about Wooly Pulley. Is it having some issues? We're going to talk about the price of natural gas and is it affecting your electric bill? We're going to talk about the Rosen Bridge finally being launched by ERGO. We've got Caspa getting listed on Coinex. We got FTX and Tron. Did they come to an agreement? We're going to talk a little bit about CPI data. And then lastly, I want to bring up the BTC hash rate. So right now, markets are pumping. The CPI data came in way below expectations. Everybody's excited about it. And this comes on the tail end less than 24 hours after this catastrophic collapse on the crypto market. But it's a good thing, right? Perhaps it saved us from hitting lower lows. We're already hitting lower lows than we did back in early June of this year. And as you can see, looking at the stock market right now, S&P 500, Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, all of them up between 5 to 7%. Which is the best day that we've had since 2020. It's been a long time coming. And is the Fed going to pivot? Perhaps, this could be just enough to change their hawkish tone to start to sound a little bit dovish. Perhaps we start to pull back on the rate hikes just a little bit. Instead of the 0.75, maybe we get the 0.5. That would be awesome. Personally, I think that the Fed has gone too far in both directions, and to me it seems intentional. I've got my tinfoil hat on here, but they are some of the brightest, most educated people in the world, and you can't tell me that they don't know the repercussions of their actions, and then, oh, didn't we thought it was going to be temporary. No, I don't buy it for a second. I don't know if you guys do, but that's just me. Anyway, moving on. So not only is the stock market pumping, but crypto is pumping as well. Bitcoin at one point today was up over 10% on the 24-hour. We're back down to about 8.5%. Ethereum currently at 14.5%. BNB up 12%. XRP up 13.5%. Cardano 13%. Dogecoin 16%. Polygon Matic up 35%. At one point, it was up 40% today. And even Solana is up almost 20%. Now, I do have a little bag of Solana. You never know. I got it just in case. And I don't know if I could even do anything with it if I wanted to. I don't know what's going on with the Solana blockchain right now, but considering everything that's gone on with FTX, yeah, I don't know if you can move your Solana around. And even if you could, I don't know if I would. Anyways, moving on. I noticed when I got home today from work that all of my rigs were asleep, essentially. They weren't connecting to the pool. And at the time, I was on Wooly Pulley, and I tried rebooting the rigs. Same thing. So initially went straight to Discord, trying to figure out if I was the only one having the problem. And apparently I wasn't. And not only is it happening today, but apparently it was having yesterday as well. And I did notice here that someone said at the moment we're upgrading servers, short reconnect. Well, that was at approximately 12:45 p.m. my time, and when I got home it was after 5 p.m. and again I tried rebooting and still nothing. So I don't know if it was specific to me or my particular location. I was on Caspa at the time, but it looks like people have had issues with other pools. Now, what was odd, though, is if you look at the hash rate on Wooly Pulley, it didn't drop. If they would have had all servers go down, then we would have seen this drop drastically. And it doesn't look like it did. So this may be something that's just local to me or a select few people. And I'm curious if you guys had issues with it. If you did, leave a comment down below. And speaking of Caspa, they got listed on Coinex, I think within the last 24 hours or so. And that's doing really good for Caspa because at the moment, I think it was up about 17% on the day. let's see here, 24 hours. Caspa is up almost 18%, which is excellent. And look at this. Trading volume, 1.91 million. And to top it off, they have moved up to number 320 by market cap, which is absolutely awesome. I knew this coin was going to do excellent things, and it hasn't disappointed so far, and I expect even much better things to come in the future, so hope it keeps going. Anyways, going back to difficulty and hash rates, it looks like Flux has dropped off significantly today and the last couple of days. And, you know, of course, a lot of that has to do with the price of Flux. There's no sense in mining it at such a substantial loss. Now, if you watch my previous videos, you know that there's a lot of people out there mining it at a loss. But I personally am happy that the hash rate is going down because I'd like to accumulate a lot more Flux. And I might switch over some of my rigs depending on how the daylight's going to work with me. If it's super cloudy and I'm not getting much solar, then perhaps I'll stick on something that uses a lot less energy. But I did actually DCA some Flux today. The price of Flux was down, and I managed to pick up some at about 43 cents. I think we're back up to about 49 cents at the time of recording, which is roughly about 6:30 in the evening on November 10th, 2022. And let's take a look at the farm. So Caspa still, I don't want to say profitable. It's not profitable, but you're losing the least on Caspa. And we'll just kind of scroll down the list so you guys can get an idea of where we're coming in at the moment. And Ergo has moved up in the list a little bit. And you can see Flux is way, way, way down here. Pretty much everything is above it. I did notice that ETHW was up here, yeah, just slightly above Flux. But yeah, what can I say? We're pretty much in the middle of the bear market, and it's going to remain unprofitable for a significant amount of time. So what would it take to be profitable at the moment? Let's take a look at 6 cents per kilowatt hour. So at 6 cents per kilowatt hour, my farm would net me about 84 cents a day. At 7 cents per kilowatt hour, we would be slightly under. And I haven't changed the defaults here. Let's go ahead and change this because this is not how I run or how inefficient I run my rigs. So I've got about 13.4 gigahash at about 2400 watts. So $2.32 at 7 cents per kilowatt hour. Let's go 10 cents per kilowatt hour. I'd still be profitable. Wow. So if you guys have watched my previous videos on how to get efficient, yeah, you could still be profitable on Caspa. Hence the reason I was mining it earlier today. And speaking of the price of electricity, I don't know what area my listeners are mainly in, but I'm just going to assume that you guys are in the US. And right now the price of natural gas is coming down from where we were at in, let's see here, this was on 8/22 of 22. So over the course of a couple, maybe 3 months or so, we peaked and then we hit a bottom roughly about October 21st. And then we spiked up a little bit, but as you can see, this is kind of like any other chart. We hit a line of resistance right here, and we're coming back down. Now, I hope this continues to go back down, but what caught me off guard, and the reason that I looked at this today is because I got my electric bill, and it was about half of what I've been paying. There's a couple of reasons for that. Unfortunately, it doesn't have to do with the price of natural gas, although it should. So the first reason is because my rate's kind of seasonal. So from April through October, I pay roughly about 9.6 cents per kilowatt hour. And then from November through March, I pay roughly about 7.6 cents per kilowatt hour. And my rate just changed. So obviously that has a lot to do with it. But I am also using a lot less electricity than I was using previously when I was mining Ethereum mainly. Usually I was using, anywhere from 4 to 5,000 watts continuously mining ETH. And now that I'm kind of switching back and forth between Caspa and Radiant, we're only using about 23 to 2,500 watts. So obviously it's gone down drastically, but I've been mining Caspa and Radiant pretty much since Ethereum went proof of stake, and my bill was still significantly more than it was this last bill. And going back to whether or not the price of natural gas is affecting your electric bill, look at this chart real quick that I found. So this is rating by color how much electricity is produced from gas in 2021. And as you can see, the United States used about 40%, well, we'll just say 40% of its electricity production was created from gas. And if you take a look at Australia, they're at about 17.8%, Canada 11.85%, Brazil 13.27%, Russia 42.9%. Then you've got some of these countries using quite a bit more. Wow, 96% in Libya. Anyway, so going back to this price of natural gas here. So I'm hoping that it's going to come down over the coming months, and that should reflect on my electric bill. Now, my electric company claims that they haven't changed rates in over 10 years, but I caught them in a bold-faced lie looking at my electric bill and comparing it to prices from a year ago. So, number one, they have an added line item on the bill that's called PCRF, and that is directly tied to the price of natural gas. In August of last year, it was a 1 cent per kilowatt hour credit or a deduction. And towards the end of 2021, it started to creep up, and it went from a 1 cent credit to this point, it's at 3.5 cents per kilowatt hour on top of my 9 or 10 cents per kilowatt hour. And it hasn't changed. It increased, but it has not come back down, even though since roughly August, the price of natural gas has continued to plummet. So I did the math on everything, and even though I'm supposed to be at 9.6 cents per kilowatt hour in those months that I mentioned, the last few months, they've actually been charging me 10.1, not including the price of natural gas. And then on this month, they were charging me 8.1 cents per kilowatt hour, whereas the previous year, not including the price of natural gas, they were charging me 7.6 cents per kilowatt hour. So look at your bill, scrutinize that thing, and if you catch them lying, call them out on it. Could save you some money. Anyways, moving on to ERGO. So they announced today on Twitter, this is a big step forward in the opening up the ecosystem and for our other networks to utilize ERGO's technology. Rosen Bridge is now live as a soft launch on the ERGO and Cardano network. Now, if you're not familiar with the Rosen Bridge, let's take a look at this here. So Rosen Bridge is an ERGO-centric bridge enabling users to send and receive coins and tokens between ERGO and any other chain. The other chain, say Chainx, however, should support multi-signature transactions or threshold signatures. In this bridge, there is no need to deploy and utilize smart contracts on the other chains, since the consensus on any action can be done on the ERGO platform by a set of guards, resulting in a signed contract. These transactions can be broadcasted to other chain by any party, including the guards. So essentially what we're looking at is interoperability, which is excellent. And we've been waiting for this for quite some time. Now, it looks like it's only between ERGO and Cardano at the moment. You know, those two go hand in hand. But this should open up development for all kinds of things, which could be what Ergo really needs. It's been down in the dumps ever since the whole difficulty fiasco after Ethereum switched to proof of stake. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, and please don't get me wrong, and I apologize, I'm not trying to pick on you, Arminio, but Arminio is very, very knowledgeable about all things Ergo. But as far as being the front person for the Ergo project and conveying all of these exciting details to the community, your energy level is very low. He's kind of monotone, and I'm just going to come right out and say it. I think that there needs to be somebody else conveying these details to the community. Now, I don't know what that means for Arminio or to Arminio. And again, I absolutely love Arminio. I think that Ergo has the possibility of excelling if they have someone that has a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. If you look at somebody like Daniel Keller, obviously he's high energy, very outspoken. You look at Charles Hoskinson, he's also very outspoken, extremely intelligent. He may be somewhat monotone as well, but it needs somebody like that to get the community excited about the project again. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Moving on, let's talk about FTX. So I believe there was a post earlier today that said they have come to an agreement with Tron. Let's see if we can find it here. I may not be able to. I always struggle finding tweets. It's funny. Yeah, I can't find it. We're just going to move on. You guys are going to have to take my word. So it looks like Tron and FTX are reaching some type of an agreement. I don't know if that means Tron is buying FTX or if they're just going to be exchanging tokens one for one, or how all of this is going to work. But perhaps this will keep the contagion from spreading, which is very exciting. And then lastly, what I wanted to talk about is the BTC hash rate. So, yesterday, Bitcoin crashed to under 16,000. But during that time, the hash rate still continues to climb. We are almost at an all-time high, which was set on roughly exactly a month ago, about October 9th, October 10th. And it's very bullish. I'm excited that miners still continue to come on, but I think what everybody's expecting right now is for miner capitulation. And we do know that some of the big dogs have run into a lot of trouble. But to see this hash rate continue to climb, I have some suspicions, and I'm just going to come right out and say it. I think there's more equipment, more efficient equipment that is just waiting in the wings that has perhaps not been announced yet. Now, is it something that Bitmain has created? Probably. Is it something that Intel has created? Maybe. Is it something that, somebody we wouldn't have expected created? Probably not. But we know what they do, guys, right? They got to break in the equipment. They got to test it. Yeah, I'm very curious how long these tests last. But I suspect that there is another ASIC out there that is extremely efficient, and that is why we've continued to see the hash rate just increasing drastically. You would think at this point, like all of the other bear market cycles where hash rate drops as price drops, but that's not what we're seeing this cycle. It's very intriguing. I'm curious what you guys think. So do me a favor, give me your speculation down in the comments below. Anyways, that's it for the video today. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you on the next one.